Okay, honey, as you can see, we're starting with the crock pot. I've already got it warmed up. I always get it going ahead of time. And then I've got a pork roast, and a big tri-tip roast. It doesn't have to be a tri-tip roast. You can just use pork roast if you want, or even just any kind of a beef roast. The key is going to be cook it until it shreds easily. You can shred it with a fork. But also, I would highly recommend getting a knife or a sharpener for your knife and have it really, really sharp. That's gonna come in handy. Okay, this is part A. And also you're gonna need a measuring cup with herb, or just, we're gonna add water to this crock pot. I'll record that when it comes up. Okay, when I say cutting these into cubes, what I mean is cubes about maybe like that, just pieces. All of this stuff into pieces so that it cooks better, and it's not in, you can even make them just a little bit smaller. They're gonna be shredded anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the point is that you want these in pieces. You don't want this to be a whole roast cooking. It'll take forever to get the center soft. Okay. Okay, honey, now you can see I've got the crock pot on high. It's all warmed up. Or you can start it. When you start up the crock pot while you're doing the meat, set the crock pot on high. All I'm saying is it's good to get it warmed and going. Now you can see I've got all those big pieces in there. So the next step is that I'm going to season this. I'm going to put a little bit extra because, let's see, that's just salt. And we're going to add a little bit of garlic salt as well. And I add just a touch more than what you think it's going to be. Then what we're going to do is, we've got a cup of water. We're only going to add just enough so that all of this looks like it's going to cook. And now I can get all this down in there. Yep. See how well that's going to work? And then just leave it, man. Just leave it. Actually, let's mix it up because we got the seasoning in there. And we're going to add more seasoning to this too, because if it's bland, it's horrible. I mean, it's just, bleh, it defeats the whole purpose. Salt, just the right amount of salt and just a touch of garlic is the key. I know you've got other chili powder seasonings that you like to try. All I'm going to ask is just once try it just like this. Okay, next video coming up. Okay, so I've taken the whole thing of this and I poured it into here. And what I'm going to do, actually what I've been doing, is taking a little bit of salt and just a touch of garlic, and I'm putting it in there to taste. And I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to get it to just kind of simmer a little bit and melt the salt and the garlic into the flavor. So when you're doing it, turn around and just give it a little taste until it tastes good. And once it starts to simmer, take it off. That's good. All you want to do is melt the salt in. You don't want to add it to anything that's not going to cook it in. You know what I mean? It's like putting salt on top of a hamburger that's already cold. All right, honey, thank you. Okay, so I seasoned this stuff and I got it to taste and I put it back into the container. That's for later. That's for later. Anyway, and I cleaned the container I had it in because we're going to use that again. And I'll show you how. Now you can see that this has been cooking for a little while, but you see how it's not boiling or anything yet, and this stuff doesn't fall apart. It's rubbery. If it's even a little bit rubbery, screw that, but try to keep it down into the liquid. The more it's in the liquid, the better. I think you already know that though. Anyways, so we're gonna leave that for another couple hours at least. And again, we have it on high. Okay, so it's much later. We got home and this is hours later. I took it the big thing from here, and I drained all the juice out so that it's just the meat in here. Then, once it was just the meat, I took the mixture that we had made with this, I poured it in. There's still a little bit left there. And I just went in and I shredded, got all of this meat nice and shredded up. And I could probably have used a little more of that, but this is still gonna be very, very delicious. Whoops, oh, it's fogging up the camera. But anyways, that's it. So here, let me see. Show you this. Okay, here, try this. Try it. Take a bite, honey. Ooh, look at that. That looks really good. Okay, honey, that's it.